What's your favorite scary movie?
Be like, I'm dying.
If some guy came up to me and said, "Hey, big eyes," I'm like, "It's over and done. We're married now."
Someone in the movie, so I'm like, kiss. But
Oh God, what a sea of humanity.
What up, what up, what up? Good Monday, everybody. Welcome into 52/1994, the live movie conversation podcast, where we discuss movies from the year 1994. I am your host, Cody, and I am joined by my co-host this week, Laura Jo. Laura Jo, welcome in.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing this for me. And we're going to have you hopefully on later. Don't let this movie ruin everything for you. So I do thank you for joining me. If this is your first time joining us, welcome in. We are so happy for you to join us today. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up, what do? Well, we watch 52 movies from the year 1994. Important movies released this year, typically by monthly categories. Doesn't matter if they are good or bad. And then I have my friends come on here to talk about the movie and then maybe see if they like any movies or have any interest in movies at all. So Laura Jo, welcome in. I feel like we've had your entire family on, and we're slowly getting them all one by one. So
That's right.
hopefully you had a good weekend, good Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah.
And because you're a dog mom, I just want to recognize you.
Hobbs is that booty right there. That's our co-host.
That's
Hobbs.
I accept. I love me some Hobbs. Love me some Hobbs. And I kept texting Laura Jo this weekend, or I didn't text her a lot, but I was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry about this movie. This is a tough first watch." Laura Jo, have you ever heard of this movie before that we're talking about?
Never heard of it.
And
Nope.
I gave her a list of movies and she just selected. I was like, "Hey, Robin Williams is in this movie."
Yep.
She's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I said,
Yeah. Well, and the
"Cool."
name, it's like being human. I'm like, that has a lot of potential. So let's go for it. That sounds
Yeah,
like a
I
good
thought it
movie.
sounded like a good premise when I was looking at it, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But anyway, she said it. The movie is called Being Human. I don't think anybody has ever seen this movie, and I forced all my friends to watch it. So if you've ever seen it, let us know. But let me tell you a little bit about the movie before we talk about this movie. The movie's called Being Human. Like I said, I did not write down when it came out. The director and the writer is Bill Forsyth. He's probably most well known for a movie called Local Hero. I do recommend people go watch that movie. It is a good movie from the 80s. This movie stars, it's a star studded cast. It's Robin Williams as Hector. John Turturro is in this as Lucinius. Bill Nighy's in this movie as Julian. Vincent D'Onofrio's in this movie as the priest. Robert Carlyle's in this movie as a shaman. We've got more people in here like Hector Elizondo. He's probably more famous for The Princess Diaries and every Gary Marshall movie made. William H. Macy's in this movie for like 40 seconds. Lorraine Bracco's in this movie for about a minute and a half. Ewan McGregor's in this. This is his first movie ever. Jonathan Hyde is in this movie. He's recognizable. He was in Richie Rich earlier this year. He's in Jumanji, another great Robin Williams movie. One of those. One human soul named Hector, this is the synopsis from Google, gets the chance to live 5 separate lives through different periods of history. He's reincarnated as a Celt, a Roman slave, a Scottish crusader, a man shipwrecked in Africa, and a modern day New Yorker. And though the same souls keep popping up around him, including his lover and his children, Hector makes the same mistakes over and over again. But it is through these many trials and errors that Hector learns what it truly means to be human. This movie made it made $5 million on a budget of $40 million. So, not too good there. Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 42%, IMDb 5.3 out of 10. Letterboxd has this as a 3. Couple reviews. say a nifty idea that goes everywhere and nowhere. Williams takes another turn for the dramatic, which in the past has always resulted in a simultaneous turn to mediocrity in this unique, if ultimately unamazing film from Forsythe. That was Mark Savlov. He gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And then Janet Maslin of New York Times, we've heard from her a couple times this year, said that aiming high and falling short of his own mark, Mr. Forsythe remains a filmmaker of vivid, unpredictable imagination. That's the best review I could find. And basically, this killed Bill Forsythe's career. That's the legacy that this left behind. He was a pretty renowned director for like 10 years in the 80s and the early 90s, and this kind of just killed that. So we're going to tackle this. We're going to tackle this movie, Laura Jo. And tell me what's your initial thought on this movie.
Probably like, like I really had to, when it got into the second story, I literally had to pull up IMDb to read like the synopsis because I couldn't understand what was happening. I didn't know if it was like the same guy in a like later on down the road, if it was like 20 years later or what, or like, so it helped a lot to read like the actual synopsis of it to understand like what it was to begin with, because I went in totally blind. I didn't look up anything about it. I'd never heard of it, so that was probably my initial thought, was like, what is happening?
And it doesn't handhold, and this is a movie that does need to handhold you, and it does not handhold you at all.
Even with the narrator, like,
yeah, the narration just like, you think it's going to add some exposition, something that'll guide you along, and it doesn't at all.
Nope.
It just is very cryptic and is like, and this slave became the master, and that's it. And that's all they give you.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was my biggest complaint. I watched it with Alyssa, and she was like, I don't know what's going on ever.
Yes.
And as 5 individual stories, it's still not like very captivating. I felt like I was pissed off most of the time.
Yeah, it was more like I was like, okay, can we be done? Can we wrap this up? It was pretty agonizing.
So the rest of this is going to be very, very tough for us.
Yeah.
What are some? There are basically 5 scenes in this movie. And I ask usually about the best scenes in this movie, and there aren't really any. But out of the 5 scenes, so we've got, what have we got? The like,
got caveman.
Caveman.
Yeah, where his family's like stolen. I literally wrote this down because I was like, I can't keep up here. Yeah. Caveman with the family stolen, slave to the master in Rome, Scotsman with the Italian widow, the Portuguese nobleman that was like shipwrecked, and then the like modern day New York guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And out of those 5, which one did you like the best?
I would probably say either the slave with the master in Rome, only because Luscinus was like my favorite character, just because he was dramatic and like kind of all over the place, and I thought he was the most humorous. So that one was probably my favorite because of that. But then like, if you're going like the sweet route, I say like the New York City one, just because he like kind of reconnected with his kids and stuff. So like for it being a little funny, I would say the Rome one. Sweet one, I would say the New York City one.
Okay, I like that. I think you're right though. Like, if I had to pick, gun to head, had to pick, I do think the Rome one is the best one.
Yes.
With John Turturro, and I do like the New York one because it does give a little heart to this film. With him reconnecting with his kids, he seems to like have figured it out in this lifetime a little bit, even though he's still kind of lame. And then I actually kind of like the Scottish one a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I like again, maybe I'm kind of discovering I am drawn to like sort of chaotic characters. So I did kind of
Mhm.
like the Italian Widow, like how she was just kind of all over the place. But yeah, I can see that one. I would say my least favorite was the Portuguese on the island. That was probably that one and the caveman were the lowest.
Yeah, and I think they're connected too.
Uh,
Like
Who
in their
knows? The narrator
yeah,
didn't
that's
tell
true.
us.
That's true. But the wife from the first story is the wife from the fourth is the wife in the Portuguese story.
Really?
Yeah, and then the guy that takes his wife away in the first story is Francisco in the fourth story.
And they couldn't explain that.
No.
Even with the narrator, they couldn't piece it
No, I wish I could
together.
say yes or anything. No, I think I like the Scottish one. It reminded me the most, even though I do not think that he was a great guy in any of them, but like that one kind of reminded me of the Colin Firth storyline in Love Actually. You've seen Love Actually?
Once. I
Yeah, well,
also didn't love Love Actually.
that's
I
okay.
think
That's
maybe
it's
I'm
not
not
for
a fan
everybody.
of, like, multiple storylines happening
Stories,
at once.
yeah. But in that one, he falls in love with a girl that doesn't speak the same language that he does.
Mm, okay.
So I
I
like
vaguely
that a little
remember
bit.
that. Yeah.
But I didn't like that, he was like, "No, I gotta go back to my kids," but he's still like, "Hey, let's keep going. Let's keep walking here." And then
Yes.
they like had to bury a guy and
That was my I don't know if if I'm allowed to
no,
jump
we
ahead.
can jump around
Okay, because
wherever.
that was my like one of my most like WTF
Mhm.
moments was when they like found the dead guy, put a bunch of rocks on his head, and were like, "You turned on, I'm turned on. Let's have sex 5 feet from this dead body." And I was like, "What the fuck? Like what?"
It's bizarre. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
that was.
I think I had that and then the turtle eggs were like the
Oh
most
my god. Ugh.
it's gross. It's so gross.
So yeah, unhinged.
Um I think the New York one could have been better. I do
Yes.
like it the most, and I think because one, it helps that it's in modern times, so we get it a little bit more. But like, I wish the children in that were better.
Better actor. Yep. I thought the exact same thing because it was a little reminiscent of like the last one was a little reminiscent of like Mrs. Doubtfire,
A little bit,
which
yeah.
was when I was looking up the like fun facts and stuff. I'm sure you saw this as well, but like it was they were kind of trying to ride the coattails of Mrs.
Hmm.
Doubtfire, like with Robin Williams' success, which is I read that it was supposed to go straight to video. Actually, this movie and it didn't only because they were like, well, he had all the success with Ms. Doubtfire, so like, let's just ride those coattails, and then it did not do that. But the New York one kind of reminded me of like the oldest daughter and Ms. Doubtfire and like
Hmm.
the
Yeah, they
the
kind of even
middle
look the
kid.
same.
Yeah. But they were substantially worse actors.
Just the worst actors ever. And
Yeah.
I also love that so the big thing there's like a reveal that all the son wants to do is like be squeezed by his dad.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like he still ever squeezes him at all. He kind of like gives him a side hug.
Yeah, the weird like, "I'm finished with my chicken. I'm ready to be, like, squeezed to death." It was just all so awkward. It was so
I
and
hate that. I hated that daughter too.
yes, and, like, the kid when he was another one of my, like, WTF moments was when he was, like, in the New York one when the kid was, like, in the boat, and he was like, "Help, help," and he was, like, in standable water. You know what I'm talking about? When he was, like, in the boat, and
Yes.
he was like, "It's filling with water. Help, help," and it literally was just, like, Robin Williams ran down to the water and was like, "That's not safe," and literally he could just step out of the boat, and it was, like,
Yeah.
above. Like
And then he throws him a rope. He's like, "Throw me a rope," and he just throws him a cut rope.
right. Yeah,
I was like, "What the hell is going on here?"
exactly.
And
Like, why don't you just step out of the boat, my guy? Like, you're fine.
and I know that in that point they're trying to make they're trying to make a parallel to the very first story when he's a
Right.
caveman and the
Right.
guy like is just too cowardice to go out and try and get his children or try and get his wife,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work when
No.
it's like this
Because
kid
they
that,
too are in very shallow water, and it's like
yeah.
you didn't even like try to get into the boat. Like it's not even up to your knees, bro. Like I don't. It was
I
yeah.
just kept thinking about that moment in that first one and this one when and I have Hook playing behind me
Now
on
that
my TV. No, that's
yeah
a good movie.
yeah
We
yeah.
should just talk about
We
Hook.
should just talk about Hook.
Where he's like caught and he's trying to reach for his children, and then his children are like, he didn't even try.
Yeah.
That's what I kept thinking of, and I was like, he
Yes.
tried harder in that movie to get them
Yes.
than he did in this movie, which
Yeah.
again, he didn't step 3 feet into water.
Right.
Insane. Insane. Let's see. The Roman one, I agree with you. I still think that the Rome scenes are the best scenes because it was the most interesting out of all 5 of
Yeah,
them.
and that one actually made me laugh out loud, and this is maybe,
Yeah.
like I know I have a dark sense of humor, so this may, like, not hit for everyone, but, like, when he was running when they were, like, tippy-tapping up and down the stairs, kind of, like, chasing each other when he was running with the knife, and they were just it was just, like, the tippy-tap of their sandals up and down the
Mm,
stairs, and he was, like, running around with a knife like, I can't," like, just being such, like, a queen about it, and then just, like, flopped onto the haystack. It was that made me, like, actually laugh out loud. That was I put that for my best scene because I was just like that. It's such a funny, dramatic I know it's not a funny moment, but it
mhm.
was funny the way it was carried out to me, where
Yeah.
he just, like, running all around being dramatic about not being able to kill himself and then just flops onto a haystack, so
I really like Lucinius or John Turturro's in that, and even
yeah.
before this, the death scene is good, but even before this, when he goes to the, I still don't know why. I don't really understand why he needed to kill himself and why. Like, I didn't really.
Okay, I looked it up. So my
Okay, good.
understanding is that he was like trying to be like a big time trader, like in like Rome, and so his like shipment like failed, and like got stolen, I guess, by like I Joseph said it was by pirates. I didn't see that in my like looking up, but it like failed, and so the remember when he was like doing the weird chicken thing? Like,
Yes, I do.
apparently the chicken how could you forget, right?
You're right.
The chicken apparently was, like, a bad omen, like, when he was, like, poking around on the chicken about lending him more money for trading since his first one had failed. So, essentially, he had to become the scapegoat for the money that was lost that they had lent him to do, like, the trading.
Okay.
That's my understanding. I you shouldn't have to, like, do a deep dive, I don't feel like, to understand, like, one scene, but I digress.
But I liked how happy he was when he like left that guy, the like guy's house.
Yes.
He was
Like,
just
that's real,
very
really.
cheery. He's like, I have to kill myself, and you're gonna die too because you're my slave, and we're like best friends.
Yeah, yes. It's like, what a
So
relief.
that I
Yeah,
get to die with you. Thank you.
yes.
No, that was good. We have a big John Turturro fan in our audience, and so if I could tell him to just watch one part of this, it would be that
Yes.
scene. Yeah, it's
Yep.
very good. And I did like the death scene, and I did like that he made Robin Williams take out the
Yeah,
uh, to do it, and
yeah,
luckily he died before he had
yeah,
to kill himself. It
yeah,
was nice, so smart.
yeah.
I hated that he
Yeah.
left that girl though.
Well, no, she came with him. Did you
Oh,
not
she
see?
did.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
She came with it. That because I thought the same thing. I was like, damn, you left your girl behind, even though you said you wouldn't. But then she like crawled up out of the like little ship thing as well. But the way that was another WTF moment I had, like the way that they maybe this is like super judgmental, but the way that Robin Williams was like kissing her when they were like planning their
It
getaway
was
was so weird. It was so weird. I
it
put
was
that.
def it was definitely very weird. It was like
Yeah.
chicken
It was
pecking.
like 2
Um,
ducks kissing.
yeah, it was
It was
very
weird.
duck kissing. Absolutely. So, what is that? So one thing that I think could have done better in this is the fact that they don't use the same actors to represent all of these different people.
Mhm.
Because they are all supposed to represent the same people across all 5 stories. So, like, they don't use the same like wife across all, or the same lover across all, or the same children, or the same best friend, or
Mm.
who is, and they're all represented, or they're all different in each of the 5. Now, there are some actors that we see across those, like I said, like 1 and 4 share similar actors, but I think that could have helped with some of the confusion, and maybe
I didn't even pick, to be honest, Cody, I didn't even pick up on that. Like, I really didn't even pick up that they were like all kind of connected.
yeah,
I was just like, oh, these are 5 completely different human experiences, I guess.
yeah,
Like,
because like his lover in the Roman one is still is the Italian girl. In the Scottish one, she is the flower girl or flower business girl in the
in
in
New
the New
York.
York one. They're all representing the same person.
Weird. I did not
Yeah.
pick up on that at
Well,
all.
that, and when I went to like IMDb and looking at all like the cast lists and everything, I was like, none of this makes sense.
Nope.
Like, I don't know. I can't even list these people out because they play many different characters. So I don't know.
It's
It
also
was,
interesting to me to make like such an extensive movie in terms of a cast and have so many bad ones. You
yeah,
know, like I feel like Robin Williams was really the only like standout for me, like with the best performance. I was like, I really, out of all 5 stories and all the different all the different people they had, I still feel like they like none, well, besides like Lucinius, I'll give him that just like for the drama, but really none of the other actors or actresses in my opinions were like good at all.
well,
So
and like I named off all those people, and you probably don't know, like Hector Elizondo or Robert Carlyle or any of these people, like those are big named actors,
yeah,
and are decently like Lorraine Bracco was nominated for an Oscar.
yeah.
This, of course, this is Ewan McGregor's first movie, and he gets a few lines in there, but you don't even know it's Ewan McGregor.
I
Um,
literally I saw the fun fact that it was like Ewan McGregor's first like breakout role, and I had to, so I was like looking for him and I never noticed him. So I had to like go back and Google like who his character was because I didn't even recognize him.
yeah. It's, and like I said, like William H. Macy's in this movie, and you would, even if you don't know who William H. Macy is, you know who William H. Macy is because you've seen him. He plays Boris, I think is his name in this movie. He's his friend in the New York. His like business partner.
Oh, the guy from what's that show with Emmy Rossum?
Oh, Shameless. Yeah.
Shameless. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I know him. I'm sure he's
Yeah.
in a lot of other
He's
stuff,
in
but
this
that's
for
what I know him from.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's an actor. Like, that's a guy
Yeah.
that you don't let him cook, let him be in the movie. Like,
Right.
I don't know. It's just crazy to me that happened, that they have all
Yeah.
this. They do have talent in here, but nobody else
Right. It's just a
got an
flop.
opportunity.
Yeah.
So you've probably already mentioned it. I think I know the answer, but who is your favorite character? Or
Yeah,
is there a scene
Lucinius was
stealer?
probably my favorite, just for the drama and just like you said, like the I have to kill myself. What a relief! Like just, I think he was the most like fun to watch. So probably, yeah, I would probably say he was my favorite.
I love Lucinius. I thought he was very funny, and probably one of the few times I laughed in this movie
Yeah,
were in those scenes with him. I think my favorite character is Francisco.
Francisco. Who was
He's
that?
in the Portuguese story. He's the guy that stays at the beach with all the people.
Oh, with Ursula.
He's like kind of good looking. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gives
I
him
think
his
he's good.
boots.
Yes, he gives him his boots.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
And I think I'm a little biased on this one because this is the butler from this man who looks like he did in this movie is the butler from Richie Rich. He's also
Oh.
the dad in Jumanji. Like he's
Oh,
Robin Williams' dad in Jumanji.
Yes, that's what I knew I recognized him and I could not fit because he has that in Jumanji he has that really specific accent too. And
Yeah.
I know this man, so that just scratched that itch in my
But
brain.
he's like super handsome in this movie, and I was like, easy. What are these things? What are these feelings? I thought he was cute. No.
felt about the Italian widow. I thought she was really cute.
Oh
She
yeah,
was really fun. Yeah.
I liked her.
Mhm.
They should get together, Francisco and the Italian Widow.
Yes.
Now that's a movie I'd watch
Yeah,
again.
for sure.
No, I liked Francisco. And Lucinius would probably be my other scene stealer. He was great. So,
Yeah.
quotes.
There
It
are a
is,
lot of weird ones.
yeah,
Let's see. I did think it was really funny in the Rome one, since we're talking about that one already. When the little kid, I guess it was his son, who was like, Father, like do you have a moment? I want to tell you about the world. Just like randomly, it's just like, I want to tell you about the whole world. Um, and then he said something about save your breath for blowing in my ear. Did you hear that one?
yeah.
In the Rome one, I thought that was real weird.
That's really weird. Yeah.
It was real weird.
Now, whose son is that?
I think it's
Lucinius's son?
yeah, I think it's his son. Cause Robin Williams is like, you can tell me about the world later.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I think that's
For some reason, I thought it might have been Robin Williams' son with the other slave girl that he's going to take with him.
Oh,
But now it makes sense that it might still be her son, but with Lucinius,
but
because
with
she's
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
nothing exists.
I definitely think it was his son with what woman? Who's to say?
Who's to say? Yeah.
And then the other one I had was in the New York one, where he's like talking about how his son, it's at the very, very end when they're all eating like the meat around the fire, and he's like, forgot how he eats, how dedicated he is. It's like his religion. Because he was just like raw dogging the like steak.
Yeah.
He was like eating it with his hands. But they were all weird. The quotes I picked were all just like ones that made me be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't really have anything that really stuck out to me as profound or even funny.
no, yeah.
Other than like Lucinius being like, I can't even remember the quote, but saying like, "You'll die with me." That was
Yeah.
a little bit funny, but yeah.
There was one, I don't remember. All of the ones I wrote down were, like I said, were just like weird. They weren't even really like funny. It was just like, what? Who wrote this? Like,
Save your breath.
because at
to
one
blow in
point
my
he,
ear.
he said something like, he called him a little squirrel. He was like, "You little squirrel, what's wrong with you?" I don't remember which one that was in. It might have been like the Scotsman one, but it was
Mhm.
all just like really out of pocket little quotes that I picked up on. It was nothing like inspirational or anything.
And let me go back to the Scotsman one, because that one creeped me out. Like
Yeah.
a little bit, the beginning of it, because of the priest character.
Oh my
Like
god.
I thought it was gonna be like there was gonna be some weird turn with the priest and the Italian woman, and then it doesn't even do it. He just leaves him. He's just like, "Hey, we were friends, but now we're not
Yeah.
friends." So
He's like, "Hey, keep it in your pants. I'm out of here." Like,
yeah. And you don't even know. Yeah, there's no payoff. That's a good point. Like, you don't know what their situation is. You assume that this guy isn't really a priest, I guess. There's like
or
that.
like
He's like,
he's a really weird priest.
I
Like,
mean,
the vibes are off. Which need we say more? You know?
yeah, right. Yeah. So, yeah, there's nothing really that's stuck out to me. Mostly because like a lot of the lines that we get aren't as funny as I want Robin Williams to be. Even
Yeah.
even in his dramatic roles, he's able to get in a few things. Like you were able to pull out the thing like it's his religion, but
Yeah.
that's about as funny as he gets in this. And
Yeah.
he can act dramatic, and I just felt like he was better dramatically in Mrs. Doubtfire. And
Yeah. And that's to me how you know like it's a really bad movie, is if you're not really like, if the script is not utilizing Robin Williams well, then
Mhm.
like, it's bad,
Yeah.
because he's so versatile.
Yeah.
So
Let's see. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill. I'm very thin on all my categories, so
Super thin.
do not be don't worry if you don't have anything either.
It was just them tippy tapping up those stairs
Tippy
with the
tapping. Yeah.
sandals. That made me laugh out loud. Just be that little chase scene. That was it.
Yeah, I think I liked the ending scene between. I thought it was kind of funny. The ending scene between Robin Williams and Francisco when he does take his boots,
Yeah.
and even if they are too big and everything, and I just think it's funny how absent-minded Robin Williams' character is in that, and how he's like, "Hey, you need to be like, you're a piece of garbage." Like, yeah, you can have my boots, sure, whatever. You're gonna die anyway.
Why not? I'm gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also like a little funny when the group of African men like made them show their belly buttons and like
Oh yeah.
breathe. That was like a little bit funny, but not even enough to like audibly laugh. There's just kind of another like, what is happening?
Same thing with the part where Robin Williams his slave asks him to pronounce his name correctly. He's like, "You said you would do my name. You said you would say my name," and I think it's supposed to be funny, but it wasn't like as funny as it should have been.
Well, because it's a little too real, you know. Like
Yeah.
this movie was made in 1994, and like that's still like
Where were you in 1994?
issue. I was being 2 years
You
old.
were just being 2. I forgot to ask that at the top.
Just being 2.
Just being 2 years old, just having a life.
Not even changing. Not even. Yeah. Not doing anything for myself. I suppose. Really, I don't know. Maybe I was an advanced 2-year-old. I don't know. Joseph or Steven could tell you, but probably not.
Probably.
Yeah.
So we already talked about the WTF moments. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you want to say more about your WTF moments? Like I said, the turtle eggs is one of the parts that I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, it was when he went to go pick up the kids at the house in New York, and there was like a dummy hanging from the tree
It was Halloween.
in the front. Okay. Okay.
I had the same thought though.
I was like, what the? That one really tripped me out. I did not know it was Halloween.
I was like, I said the same thing. I was like, what is that thing doing? And then it like turns around the camera for very briefly, and you'll see Halloween decorations in other people's yards.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, it makes sense now.
I missed that. Yeah, but even still, like it's a little weird. It was a little
Oh,
weird.
it was a little. That's the only Halloween decoration they had up.
Yeah.
Was this man hanging in their yard. So
yeah, that was my only other one that I hadn't mentioned yet.
I don't really think there was any music, or even the score wasn't even wasn't even that great to me. Yeah. I'm gonna skip Smash or Pass or F, Marry, Kill because I don't know. I really don't think. Okay, let me do that. Out of the 5, out of the 5 Robin Williams Hectors.
Oh.
Who's your number one?
Like the one I liked, like the one.
Yeah,
okay.
rank them for me. Now, this is kind of a curveball, but
okay, yeah. Let's see. I think Robin Williams would be my number 1. New York, I think, would be my number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Scotsman 3, Caveman 4, Portuguese 5.
I think that's the right answer.
I think that would be, yeah.
Yeah, with that haircut, sheesh.
Whew. Just the Caveman one was just so confusing to me.
Yeah.
I was just like, because he like followed them after they like kidnapped his family, but then waited till they were like in the boats in the water to be like, mine, and then like didn't even go into the shallow water. It was just. That would have been my number 5 if it hadn't been for how much I didn't like the Portuguese.
The Portuguese
one.
guy. Yeah, he was absolutely the worst guy in that.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think about it with the haircut in Rome, though? His little.
Chef's kiss. It's
Caesar salad chef's kiss.
Thirst trap. I mean,
thirst trap.
Wouldn't have it any other
He's
way.
got the hairiest arms of any human being I've ever seen, though.
Yeah. Well, even in the New York one, it was sort of giving like a grown out Rome one.
Yeah.
Where it was like barely any grow out, but still kind of giving like the slight bowl cut, but like ruffled, like I just woke up kind of vibe. And really, I think he kind of had that look in Mrs. Doubtfire too,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, he
So
did.
maybe that was just his.
That's just his look.
He was like, I look good. I look good with this haircut. This is me. Nobody can tell me otherwise.
Who do you think gave the best performance?
Probably Robin Williams.
Probably Robin.
Yeah. Him or Lucinius, I would say. Still
Yeah.
comes back to. I do think I don't know if I can jump to this one or not, so tell me if I'm doing
Please
this wrong.
jump
But
around all you want.
for the recast, I do think Sacha Baron Cohen would have made a really good Lucinius as well. Like I feel like they have like the same kind of like they have sort of this like physical humor that I feel like makes them kind of like whimsical and like just like I thought of Sacha Baron Cohen in like Les Mis in like Master of the House, kind of how he's like just kind of whimsical and sort of dramatic and silly, and I feel like that could have transferred well. Like I feel like he could have been a good like modern day Lucinius if they were to, God forbid, try to
remake
back,
this.
You know?
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
like that. I like Sacha Baron Cohen in any John Turturro role. Now that you've brought that up, like
Yeah.
that's the other thing about this recasting. It's like I don't know, throw it at the wall and see who sticks. Who do you think is like a modern day Robin Williams?
See, I tried to think of the only person I could come up with, ironically, because you already mentioned them, was Colin Firth. Because I was trying to think of someone that could fit all. Like I feel like I could think of maybe some more for like if you broke them up into the 5 stories, but I feel like someone that could have kind of transferred across all 5 the way that Robin did. The only person I could really think of that even kind of came close was Colin Firth. Because I feel like he could do the whole like, you know, the mustache with the little goatee for the Portuguese, and like he could have the long grown out hair and do the like New York dad thing. Like I just could see him across all the roles more than anyone else.
Yeah. We struggle. I think we struggled with this whenever we did like Mrs. Doubtfire and just trying to think of a guy like Robin Williams that's, you know, can balance, is very funny and does the drama thing as well. You know, Jim Carrey, somebody mentioned, but like Jim Carrey in this role, I don't know if I could.
Yeah, well, because he's so like, I don't know if this really carries for you, but Jim Carrey's like a big guy. So I feel like a lot of these roles that, in terms of like height, so I feel like a lot of these roles were, I don't know, like small men energy. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of like I was trying to when I was trying to imagine other actors, there was just a lot that were like didn't feel like they could fit that like short king role, like that like Robin Williams did.
Every time I see a short king role, I want to give it to Daniel Radcliffe because I think he's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
And this movie actually reminded me of a show that Daniel Radcliffe stars in called Miracle Workers. Have you ever heard of it?
Never heard of it.
You
said it's a show, not a movie?
It is a television show. There are 4 seasons of it. I think they're all on Max.
Okay.
Or at least 3 of them are anyway. But each season is a different story, but it's all the same actors. So like the first story, Daniel Radcliffe is an angel and Steve Buscemi plays God, and God wants to blow up the world, and like Daniel Radcliffe and this other people are trying to figure out how to not do that. The second season is ancient or the Dark Ages, like knights and all that stuff, knights and queens and all that, and he plays like a prince that doesn't know how to do anything. And then it's the Oregon Trail in the 3rd season, and then it's like a post-apocalyptic world in the 4th season.
Okay.
But it's like everything that Miracle Workers did, I wanted this movie to do. It
Right.
uses the same cast. It tells different stories. It's actually funny and
Yeah.
also heartwarming. Definitely watch this if you want to see Daniel Radcliffe do some like musical performances. I won't spoil any more because of that. Maybe Peter Dinklage. Let's throw Peter Dinklage in something.
Okay. I
Like
do feel like the premise of this movie makes way more sense in the format of a TV show, where you can break it up with like a story per season.
Mhm.
I do feel like that formatting works a lot better, because I also read, did you see, Cody, that it was supposed to be 40 minutes longer.
Yeah. That was
Like-
the only fun fact that I had about this.
40 can you imagine? Like I literally wrote, it was trimmed by 40 minutes in all caps, few. I wrote out the word few because I was already just like counting down the minutes until the movie.
Yeah. You were like, I hate Cody so much for making me do this.
It's like he did this to me on purpose,
I did.
saboteur.
Yeah. But no, not just only the 40 minutes, but like it had no narration
Yeah.
and it did not have a happy ending.
Right. Like
I want to know what kind of ending it had if it
right, where his kids like, actually we hate you, like please don't even try. What? Because most of them didn't. I guess the one in Rome had the happiest ending. I mean, I guess besides the kids, it's like a semi happy.
Yeah, that is the happiest ending.
Yeah. I don't know, Cody. Kids or freedom? Which one is happier? You know. Maybe that's the real question.
That's another show.
That's
not this show.
Podcast.
Well, let's see. Somebody asked a question earlier, and I want to go back to it. Let's see. Do you think this is Robin Williams' worst movie?
I will say I haven't seen all of Robin. Like I haven't.
I don't expect you to have seen every Robin Williams movie.
I do think I've seen a lot of them, but I would say out of the ones I've seen, by far.
I
By far.
think I agree with that. I'm just looking at a very small list. I don't love the movie Jack that much.
Is that the one where it's like a Benjamin Button type thing? Like his mind is
he's like a 50-year-old body in the 10-year-old mind.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I would say that one's better than this one, personally.
Oh, well, this one doesn't even count, but I was going to say License to Wed. Did you ever see that movie? It's got John Krasinski in it.
Yes, and not Rashida. Who's the? Mandy Moore?
Yes, Mandy Moore.
Mandy Moore. Yes. I do. I've seen that one.
He was heavily advertised to be in that movie, and he's in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that would be cheating. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Cody! Somebody said, "Are there any good Robin Williams movies?"
Yeah, he's a troll. Just.
Oh, okay. I was like, "What in the world?"
Somebody said License to Wed wasn't the worst. I do not like that movie. I will put my stamp of that movie very bad.
But do you like it more than this one, though? I think.
I don't know. Either would be a struggle for me to get through. What's your favorite Robin Williams movie? How about we go with that?
Ooh, does Aladdin count or no?
No, I think it counts.
Does it have to be? I didn't know if it could include voiceovers or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, it's probably a toss up between. Oh gosh, Good Will Hunting is so good too, though. I would probably say Mrs. Doubtfire or Aladdin are like my top ones. What about you? What's your absolute favorite?
I love him in Dead Poet Society. That's got to be my number one. If you haven't seen it,
I saw it once, and that was plenty.
That was good. You're not gonna watch it again.
If I ever want to bawl my eyes out again, I know where to go.
Yeah.
But
But I love, and it is a critically hated movie, but I love Hook, and I
Oh my god.
love like Hook and Aladdin. Like, well, Aladdin is well loved, but those are up there for like my make me happy movies. I
Hook
think.
is I didn't know that Hook was like critically hated.
Oh, they hate Hook. The critics hated Hook. It's
Really?
reviewed worse than this movie.
No. What see
Yeah,
that is just
by
that's
like 30% lower
that's
than this.
just not that's just not true. That's just not true. That's
Pat,
just I don't accept it. I don't accept that.
we've got some Jumanji lovers. We've
Oh,
got Jack. Somebody's
Jumanji.
trolling. Patch Adams. I forget about Patch Adams sometimes.
That's the one I was trying to think of that's more popular that I haven't
Yeah.
seen. I haven't seen Patch Adams.
Good Morning Vietnam is a great movie. Early movie, early version of him. World's Greatest Dad. That's a tough movie to watch for some people. It is later in his life, and I don't know if I can recommend it to anybody, but
Do we
I
know what his like last movie was before he died?
I think it was The Angriest Man in Brooklyn. That might have been the last one he did,
Okay.
or it might have been a Christmas movie. I can look that up very quickly.
I can't remember what year it was that he died. So
The Angriest Man in Brooklyn is his last movie, 2014.
okay.
So
Did he die in 2014 or was it 2015?
yes, he died in 2014.
Okay.
That's a sad one. That was a bad day. That was a bad day.
Yeah, that was a bad day. That's one of the few celebrities I feel like that I was like,
Same.
that's tough.
That one was a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. If you had to pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, like a fine wine and a dish, giving together, what would you choose? And if you would rather, if you don't have movies, you could choose maybe a song or a book to go with this. You can do that as well.
I came up really short on this one. The only thing I could think was to pair it with Mrs. Doubtfire because the last story kind of reminded me of Mrs.
Yeah.
Doubtfire. So I felt like it would kind of lead in, and I felt like it would have been like we're really low and we're gonna like get back up high. Like I felt like it would have been like a redemption pairing more than anything else. So
I honestly, the same way that you paired that with the children's and stuff, I thought of Hook, but I was like, Hook is
yeah.
way more fun than this movie. I also thought, and I've paired this with another movie that we've done, but have you ever seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Oh yeah.
I think that is a much better movie that takes him on different, like, in different stories essentially too. It takes
Yeah.
him out of his element, and I don't know. I think that's a good movie. That's
In
a
a more
better movie.
fluent way. Yeah. I
Yes.
agree. I really like that movie. I feel like for the premise that definitely it just makes more sense. I feel like this movie just didn't make sense even
Yeah.
with a narrator, which I feel like is a really bad sign.
Yeah. Well, rewatchability rating. If you had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give it?
I know that the scale was 1 to 5, but I put 0.
It is
So
a 0.
it
It is
would
a hard 0.
it broke outside the confines of the 1 to 5. You would have to pay me to rewatch this movie, I think, and even then it would have to be like,
Yeah, I stayed within my confines and I gave it 1.
Yeah.
But overall star rating 1 to 5.
I did 1. I cheated on 1 and stayed within the rules on the other.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
I actually rated this movie a 2.
Did you?
Struggled. I thought it like 1.5. It was really, I think I bumped it up because it did make me chuckle a couple times, and I was like, there's probably a better movie that could have been made out of this, and it just didn't happen. So I gave it 2. So yeah.
I probably would have put this one at a 0 if I could have as well, but I didn't want to not get invited back ever by like not following the rules, you know?
No, you did great. I really appreciate it. Okay, usually this is where I end things, but I thank you for watching this slug of a movie with me. It is awful and terrible, and I never want to see this movie again. And unfortunately, this was the movie that I picked because I'm sick in the head. But because you're a new guest and we're happy that you're here, and we want to get to know you a little bit better and have you back on and all these good things. What is your favorite movie, or do you have a top 5 movies?
Yeah, I came up with a top 5 because I feel like movies are kind of the same for me as like music is, where I'm really all over the place. I don't really stick to like a specific genre. So top 5 for me would be Coco, Count of Monte Cristo, Hocus Pocus, Beauty and the Beast, and Coda.
Okay.
Has jumped up to my top 5 as well.
It's
like all over the board.
I love that top 5 a lot. Like that's a super unique top 5.
Yeah.
One, Coco is my favorite Pixar movie. And has only grown over the years because I freaking love
it's so good.
Coco. What was your third? What you said? Hocus Pocus.
Count
of Monte Cristo. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the one with Jim Caviezel?
Yeah. I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
It's so good. The acting is incredible. Like I love it.
There's a lot of people in that movie.
Yeah, it's a long one. It is like an investment, but it's not one of those that you can really put on in the background. I don't feel like with paying attention, but
no, I love that. I think that's a great choice. All of them, but Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, I was about to say the same person is making fun of my love for Hocus Pocus. That's all right.
He needs to get over it. Coda is really great. If people haven't seen Coda, great movie. And what was your fourth one?
It was Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. Oh, fantastic.
That's like my favorite childhood movie as well. Yeah. Like that was my like go-to as a child for just like comfort and like love is more than, whatever.
I think that was my first movie that I ever saw in a theater. I was 4 years old when that movie came out, and that I remember going to our old, like, I don't have the ticket or anything, but I'm very confident that was my very first movie in the theaters.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's so cool. I don't remember seeing any Disney movie in theater. As it came out. I'm sure I've like rewatched, like when they, how sometimes they come back to theaters every now and then, but I don't remember as a kid like actually seeing any of them in theater.
My earliest ticket stub is for Pocahontas in '95.
Dang. And you were 4 at that time? Or
I was 4 in 91, and in 95 I would have been 8. So
yeah. I feel like that's really special. I don't know. I feel like that would have been really fun to like go to as a kid. I don't know if we went to the movies as kids because our dad is a preacher, and so I don't know if we were like too poor to go to the movie. I don't know. I just don't remember like seeing any of them in theaters. But
yeah. Do you so? Other than Beauty and the Beast, do you remember any of the first movies you watched? Whether obviously it would have been on VHS or anything.
It would have been like classic Disney movies, just
Disney movies,
Aladdin, Lion King,
Fox and the Hound,
Aristocats, Fox and the Hound. Man, Fox and the Hound still. I don't watch it because it makes me sob like an idiot. Like
that's a tough one.
It is tough on my empath heart when she leaves him in the woods. God, I can't even talk about it because it's devastating. But yeah, like all the like Aristocats, Anastasia, all of those like good ones.
Everybody wants to be a cat.
Everybody wants to be a cat.
I watched Bambi within the last like couple months. That's a tough one.
Did that break your heart?
A little bit. That's a tough one. And that was rough. Yeah.
It's a very
It's
I think
also a
I've only
very
seen that
much
one
like
once.
it's also very much a like dad movie where he's like toughen up, like be
Yeah, like
better, like
sending toxic masculinity, like
you
real.
know,
Yeah,
yeah. And I didn't know Thumper was a boy for the or not Thumper, the skunk. I didn't know the
the
skunk
skunk
was a boy. I
flower,
didn't know, yeah, I didn't
flower.
know that they were because the flower in that movie is very like sexual. It's
Yeah,
weird. It's weird.
yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
like it. I
there's a
said that
lot of weird
Flower is
things
like the
about
first like trans character. Uh,
That's so good. That's a good point. Like,
I'm stand by that. I'll stand by that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, oh, do you have any favorite actors or people that you like to see? You know, you'll basically be like, oh, that person's in that movie. I'll go see that.
Yes. I will pretty much watch anything with Kate Winslet,
Okay.
Meryl Streep, Rachel McAdams. Um, and then I'll usually go see anything with Steve Carell or Ryan Gosling in it. Even if it's not like I don't know, like a big like I watched Evan Almighty. Like I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean? Like it,
Yeah.
like, it was a good no, but like Steve Carell's in it, and so I watched it. You know.
Pretty great. Pretty great. Pretty great
What's
stuff.
your? I don't know. I don't think I know your favorite. Am I allowed to ask that back to you?
What, my favorite actors?
Yeah, like your favorite actor or actress.
Oh gosh. I love right now, I'd probably say anything that like Saoirse Ronan's in, I'm game for.
Yeah.
Like I love her a lot.
Yep.
Actors wise, I feel like this changes. Lakeith Stanfield, I mention all the time. Somebody in the chat
Who's
did
that?
mention him.
What
He's in a movie called Short Term 12. He's in the newest Haunted Mansion movie. He's in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Hot dog. I don't recognize the name.
And I don't know what just beeped. That was weird. Get Out. He's in Get Out very briefly.
Oh, who does he? I have seen Get Out.
He's one of the guys that he's the guy that gets jumped in the beginning of the movie, and then is one of the
like the friend, like the that's Jordan Peele's friend.
He's in the meme. Oh gosh,
I'll just look. Sorry,
he's got yeah. You're fine.
I'll look it up.
Fine.
Yeah.
No, love Lakeith. What is that? I'm getting a beep going on. I have no idea. It might be my carbon monoxide. Maybe I've got whatever. It's fine. We're doing fine here. If an actor could play you in a movie, who would you want to play you?
This one was hard for me because I don't feel like I have much of a doppelganger. I was told growing up that like Jennifer Love Hewitt kind of looked like me, but that it was I don't really think she's in the game anymore, or if she is, she's not really like doing much. So I chose
she's like 30 years older than you too, so
yeah, true. I chose Emilia Clarke if I could pick someone, just because I guess I think what made me choose her is her performance in Me Without You. She played like a very emotional, like, sensitive character, and that's me. So I picked her, or Anne Hathaway. I think could.
Okay, I like the Anne Hathaway one.
Yeah, she got them big eyes like I do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go with one of those.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to ignore chat and everything. Any hot takes that you would say about movies?
All right, I'm gonna stir it up.
Stir it up. I love it.
I don't like Interstellar.
Ooh, your brother is probably like throwing stuff in the other room.
He about to roast me good, but I thought that movie was. I feel like I can't say that it's bad because I know that's just not true, I'm sure. But for me, it was like I felt like I wasted 3 hours of my life. Now, what I will give Interstellar, hear me out, my brew, is the soundtrack.
Myself. This is awful.
I will give it the soundtrack. The soundtrack is incredible.
I saw how to play it on the piano on TikTok, so I'm basically
really?
Yeah.
Cute.
It's very easy.
I love that for you. Yeah, the soundtrack is amazing, but I don't think that movie's good. I also thought that Poor Things was unbearable. So that's clearly another
Man, you are just
denied
throwing
hot take.
you're throwing darts at Joseph.
Yeah, it was. Well, we did see that movie together, so he does know. He does know, but I mean,
I had to have a conversation with him after I watched it too, and I was like, "Here's
did you
where
like it?
I was very middle of the road with it.
Okay.
There were parts that I absolutely loved about it, but then there were parts that I was like, could have done without this.
Yeah.
I don't think they did that well enough. It shouldn't be like there are some things that shouldn't be left up to interpretate. Like
Yeah.
there are sensitive things that I don't think you should leave up to interpretation or say, "Oh, it's satire" or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah. I do think like
make it
Emma
cleverer.
crushed it. I think she
Oh, yeah.
100% deserved the best actress. I just thought the movie was unbearable. I just could not wait for it to end, and I would watch Interstellar again before I would watch Poor Things again. So those are my hot
Okay. Best thing that you have watched recently. I got to take you off the hot takes. You're just going to make Joseph more mad.
I would say movie, Civil War. We saw that a couple weeks ago, and I actually thought it was really good. It is very overstimulating, but I thought it was really well done, and I thought Kristen, help me. Why am I blanking on her last name? You can't focus, can you, Cody? I can tell.
So hard.
You're about to lose it.
This is okay. I'll say this for pet peeve of mine is anytime I hear somebody's like smoke alarm in the background, I'm like, just change the batteries, just change them. And yeah, so it is.
I can tell. I can read your face.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst. Anyways, I think she did a really great job. A little comeback moment on that. And I also, shows wise, I think I'm watching through Succession right now, which I'm loving. And
I got through 2 seasons, I think, and didn't
I'm about to start season 2. I'm really liking it, and I also really loved Shrinking. I hope that they make another.
I didn't watch that. That's on Apple, right?
Yep, it's got Harrison Ford and the guy from How I Met Your Mother, Jason
Segel.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So those are the best things I watched recently.
Anything that you're looking forward to?
Yes, the new season of The Bear.
Okay.
And the new season of Severance.
We've got a couple Severance fans in here, I believe. So I have not watched Severance either.
It was a slow burn for sure. I was like, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I can continue watching this. This is really, really boring. And then it really picked up at the end. So looking forward to new season.
What about season 3 of Lost? That's what I want to know.
Listen, I'm doing it, Cody. I'm working through it.
I can focus now because I'm talking about Lost.
I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work to go through Lost. I'm doing my best. Season 1 was slow for me with Lost. I was just kind of like, none of this makes sense. I don't get it. Like, this is dumb. Why are there polar bears? Like, whatever. But now I'm intrigued. I also have to say too, I struggled with some of the acting in season 1. Like Michael, especially. I was like, come on.
Like, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's kind of the most annoying character. Yeah.
And it Sawyer still is really hard for me. And I don't know if it's considered a spoiler since Lost came out so long ago, but they killed off several characters that also got on my nerves. So we're in a better place with Lost now, and I'm wanting to see what comes next. Whereas like I took a long break after season 1 because it was kind of dragging for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, all right. So looking for any movies that you're looking forward to, or something that
it's okay if not. Movies that I was like really, really looking forward to. I guess I'll say I'm intrigued to see the prequel to Quiet Place.
Oh yeah,
I'm intrigued about that one. I wouldn't say it's like I can't wait, but I'll go see it.
Yeah. All right. To end this stream and to
so
end
that
my
you
madness,
cannot lose your absolute shit.
A movie recommendation to end on.
I would say Coda is one of my biggest recommendations just because I think that movie is incredible. But also, if another kind of like I think underrated movie is Leave No Trace. The one with the girl who lives in the woods with her dad, like away from society. Have you seen that one, Cody?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love, and on Joseph's recommendation.
Yeah.
I
We
watched
went
that
to go
one,
see
so.
that together, and we both cried. It's a really, really touching movie. So
Yeah, that
those are
movie's
my
incredible.
T-Rex. Yeah,
Cool. Well, Larjo,
Cody.
thank you. You're awesome. As
You're
always, even though we are going to have you back on. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself on this.
Well, I'm only coming back if the smoke alarm's going off every 2 seconds.
Smoke alarm is going off and there's a cigarette still burning. Please tell me why. Hopefully you'll come back on. I'll have that fixed by the time that you get back on here. Maybe we can get you in something else. But thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for answering my questions. You're awesome, and I promise the next one will be better for you. But
Sound good, eh?
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. And you can go whenever. I'll go ahead and say good for you for that. Okay, so I'll let Laura Joe go, but I do want to thank everybody. A couple big things have happened. You've probably noticed if you're in the Twitch stream right now. We did hit affiliate last week, meaning that things can start, you'll start seeing advertisements if you're not a subscriber to this. But if you enjoy this stream and want to see more of this stream, thank you. Subscribe to this, or if you're new here and you're not ready to subscribe and you don't want to hear that freaking beeping noise over and over again, I promise I'll fix it. But drop a follow and follow along with us. You can, support us here. You can support us just by following, just by chatting, doing those things. Join us in the Discord, talking with us in the Discord about, the movies that we're going to be talking about. I'm trying to get some new things started and hopefully start some more variety streams that might focus on things other than movies. So we are looking into doing more of those. But I do want to thank everybody that did subscribe. We had a couple anonymous gifts during the stream. A couple of you, my friends, have subbed, and I really appreciate you, and I love you very much for doing so and cheering some bits and everything. So I do appreciate you for doing those things. Thanks so much, everybody. That's, it is showtime for subbing, and that anonymous person for giving 2 gifts. Sir Garlet, want to thank you for subbing, and BSG, want to thank you for subbing and being a troll as always. Thank you all so much. We are going to be doing this next week, next Monday. Hopefully I can get on here probably around the same time, 6 p.m. To do Bullets Over Broadway. It is currently streaming on Tubi. Check that movie out. It's a Woody Allen movie. We can talk about all that and anything with Woody Allen and him being problematic. That's not a problem. We can face all those. But look forward to talking with each of you next week right here on 52/1994. I'm going to go change those batteries. You all have a good night. We'll see you next time.